Bill Brixton was just your average science professor. Until one morning, a mix-up at breakfast changed his life forever.
Oh, come on! Who left the gamma radiation fluid next to the milk?
The gamma radiation should have killed him. When he woke up, he had an incredible ability. He found that he could summon any hat he thought of onto his head instantly. He'd been given a second chance. It was time to put his hat on and fight some crime. From Marvel Studios, The Milliner.
Cool. A delicious fajita. My name is Peter. I'm a fajita. It's nice to meet you. Now please don't eat more, please. What? Please don't eat me. Alright. Cry for me, small fajita, when the truth is I never ate you. Welcome to the podcast for those of you who are watching. Please join me in welcoming this month's guests. We've got Scott Brown, Scot Laird and Joe Heenan. Evening, gentlemen.
Good evening. Hiya.
Our first round tonight is our always first round, which is our Lost in Translation round. Sometimes when films and books and television shows get put abroad from here, we don't always do a great job on the translations. Previous translations that I've really enjoyed is Die Hard going out as Tuffy in Russia, and the Knocked Up, which is a turn of phrase, ended up going out in different countries as The Date That Shagged Me, One Night Big Belly, and Slightly Pregnant, which might be my favourite title of anything. So I'm going to give our panellists 5 Lost in Translations, and they're going to see if they can figure out what the English title is. So our first one tonight is Swirly sex.
Poltergeist?
I've watched Poltergeist quite recently, but you must have watched that slightly differently, with a slightly different interpretation.
I was masturbating at the time.
There's flirting. I'm not sure. I can't really remember if there's sex in this film, but there's definitely swirling.
New Year's Eve!
It's not New Year's Eve. The swirling is dancing, if that's a clue.
Dirty dancing?
It is dirty dancing, yes.
Really?
Swirly sex is dirty dancing in Poland.
What?
Nobody puts my cock in the corner.
Swayze and his big swirly penis. It's like a flump. So it went out as swirly sex in Poland. In different areas of the world, it went out as twisty sex.
That's better.
A corner dance, and one of them was swirly sex song, Time of Your Life, : Dirty Dancing, which is the worst title for anything ever. It tells you almost everything that's in the film and really negates you having to sit through the turgid experience, which is dirty dancing. So
anything to be Polish right now, eh?
Yeah. So we'll move on to question 2, which is the rather fantastic Blind, Deaf and Mad.
Is it Anne Widdecombe, her life story?
It's not Anne Widdecombe's life story.
I'm deaf and mad.
Blind, Deaf and Mad.
Blind, deaf.
It's a comedy film, if that's any help.
See no evil, hear no evil.
It is See No Evil, Hear No Evil. That is a great shout. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
This film went out in parts of Europe as Listen Up, You Blind Buffoon, which I think is equally strong. Blind, Deaf and Mad I just think is straight up offensive. It's a really crap title. In any language you translate that in, it just doesn't play well.
Black and white funny guy.
Yeah, exactly. Mixed race disability comedy. it just could not be a worse mix of things. It's got such a potential to be handled badly. If this is the one I think it is, it's a particular favourite of mine. Man flashes.
Man flashes.
Man flashes. I want to get across to you that there's an intonation. It's not man flashes, as in a man flashing. It's man flashes. It could be all one word.
It's not Spider-Man, is it?
It's not Spider-Man. What made you think it was Spider-Man?
Because he's a photographer. Flashing.
That's a good reason. I didn't even think of that, but no, it's not. It's regular attendees of this show will realise once I show the answer that this is an actor that I particularly enjoy the films of.
Is it Elliot Gould?
It is. I'm a huge Elliot Gould fan. The life-size cutout I've got in my kitchen freaks my wife out to this day. Do you want some toast, Elliot Gould? Craig, go to work.
Elliot Gould can smell colours.
Yeah, do you know he can also go invisible at will, which is why he wasn't in Spider-Man 3.
Exactly. Elliot Gould.
He's actually in shot, but he just declined to be included in the film. He also played the Predator in every iteration of that film. Not the actual suit bit, but he played the invisible Predator.
Why am I getting the impression that Elliot Gould is like a shit Chuck Norris with all this?
Well, he could become one. Maybe he'll become one after this. But
surely a shit Chuck Norris is Chuck Norris.
Yeah, I would think so. I think Chuck Norris has got that market cornered. He's got the shit Chuck Norris market. It's eyed up.
He's all over there.
I'll give you a clue. It's an action film. Chuck Norris is the right route to go down. He's a kind of naff action hero, but he wasn't when this film came out. It was a very popular film. Scott Brown's figured it out. So
No, I know who the actor is. I'm just trying to think what
Who's the
film it'd be.
actor?
who do you think the actor is?
It's Steven Seagal.
Yeah, it's Steven
Oh,
Seagal.
man flashes. So
think of it, the flashes is probably the
I'm
confusing
going
part.
through his back catalogue
It's
right
to
now.
do with the play of light.
I'm going for Nico.
Wrong.
Out for Justice.
It's amazing, but wrong.
Under Siege.
Earlier.
Ooh, Hard to Kill.
It's not Under Siege 2 then.
It's worse than Hard to Kill.
Above the law, that's Nico.
That's Nico. That's Nico in a different thing. That's a lot.
Executive decision, no. I like it when he says, "You're a tough guy." And the other guy goes, "Yeah, I'm a tough guy." And then he goes, "Yeah, I'm a tough guy." And then they fight.
I like it.
And then he eats a pie.
I like it when the guy says to him,
I'm gonna take you down. You can take that to the bank.
Take that to the bank.
and it goes bum bum bum. And he goes,
I'll take you to the bank.
the blood bank. And it's amazing. It's the worst line ever. It's
hard to kill, isn't it?
Hard to, at the end of hard to kill. Boom boom boom. It zooms in like sometimes. It's a brilliant thing.
Oh, anybody see Johnny? Yeah, that kind of shit. Jeez, the Glimmer Man?
It's the Glimmer Man.
Oh, I forgot my favourite Steven Seagal line. And what's the one where he goes to Jamaica? Out for Justice. No, what's the one he goes to Jamaica? What's the one he goes to Jamaica?
No, wait, it's the one where he plays as some sort of retired.
Yeah, and he's fighting a guy,
thing, and there's an explosion,
and he's fighting a guy, and he kills this one guy, and then his twin brother turns up, and he kills him, and the guy goes, "Let's hope you're not triplets."
Brilliant.
That's genius. Shakespeare.
Yeah.
No, what's that one called? Mark for Death. Get in here.
That's points. Well done. Everything but Under Siege more or less plays as a spoof.
No, in Under Siege he goes, "Hey, get my pies out of the oven."
He does.
He's a big fat bastard.
I actually.
You listening, Seagal?
Yeah. The best bit is the first bit of that film where you're asked to believe that he is both a deadly assassin and a chef. and the thing is, it's like, see at the start of an action film, like you think of any action film, your pre-credit sequence, bang bang bang, car chase, explosion, Die Hard, bang bang bang, car chase, explosion, James Bond. Under Siege, helicopter shot of a boat, Steven Seagal worrying about some borscht. And then he's worried that his pies are in the oven because Gary Busey comes down to taunt him.
Yeah.
And basically you get no action at all for like 20 minutes because they have to, the idea that Steven Seagal is a chef is so unbelievable, they have to pad the front of the movie with 20 minutes so that you've sort of experienced some of his career so that it seems more like a thing that could happen.
I think Seagal should start his own cookery programme. That'd be great.
He should.
It'd be brilliant. BBC Two, Seagal does it his way. He's got poached eggs, kicking the fuck out of poached eggs. You're a tough guy. Poached eggs like...
Yeah.
Boiled eggs.
Yeah.
Just chop them in half.
Exactly. The way that he gets toast is he stands at the other side of the room when the toast pops, he throws a knife in there, and the knife's got the butter on it.
I'd watch it. That'd be great.
Yeah, I mean it would be like Delia Smith, except you wouldn't learn anything about cooking. You'd learn a boatload of things about how to kill people with kitchen appliances. I think I said last month that my favourite thing about Steven Seagal is that if you give, he's sort of like the ready steady cook of explosives. You give him any two random items in a microwave, that's a bomb. Like he can get anything going from that. It's in Under Siege, I think he pours an alcoholic beverage and puts some sort of powder, baking soda, and then a fork, and he puts it in the microwave. 30 seconds, high heat, bomb. I mean, I've put pots in the microwave and nothing happens. The microwaves are like amazing.
I've actually put bombs in the microwave.
You just get a hot bomb. You're like,
well-cooked bomb.
You go, I'm going to need to leave this bomb on the windowsill for a while
bomb's
before
melted.
I explode this. But yes, so that is this month's 15 minutes of Seagal chat.
Flashes.
Man flashes is particularly good. So next up, we've got. I really like this actually, just because it's like a statement a madman might say to you at a bus stop when you realise you really need to go now. I believe a horse kicked me.
Is that Animal House?
It really is Animal House, yes.
Oh, fucking hell.
That. I would be very interested to hear the thought process.
There's a bit where a horse kicks him?
That's the size of it. That's how you do that, ladies and gentlemen. So far, Joe Heenan is ahead at the end of Lost in Translation, so 7 points. So, our next round is worst ideas for a film. You'll have seen from our trailers that I am quite a big fan of fictional films that are awful, and each month I ask my panellists to bring with them a couple of ideas to try and make me laugh and score some points. So we're going to go back and forth and try and see who can come up with the best worst ideas for a film. So why don't we start with one from you, Scott? Middle Scott.
Thank you. Right, okay. I've got Robert De Niro, Nicolas Cage, and Mickey Rourke star in a western called The Good, the Bad, and oh my God, what the fuck happened to your face?
That's really good, Scott. Joe?
In an apocalyptic future, lesbians fight to the death for the enjoyment of their mutated gerbil masters in Battle Dykes.
I got that name from a place near Aberdeen.
Yes, I know it.
Battle Dykes. Brilliant name.
What do you mean a place?
A place called Battle
There's a
Dykes.
place called
I
Battle
thought you
Dykes
meant
in
it's like a
Aberdeen.
shop or something.
No, I know it's called Battle Dykes. I've always wanted to go there just to see like Martina Navratilova and KD Lang kicking fuck out of each other, man.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing.
So there's also a place near Aberdeen called John Shaven.
Yep.
That
It may be John's Haven, but it's not funny.
no. It sounds like what Channel 5 would have done with the Robot Wars.
Sci-Fi Channel.
Battle Dykes.
Battle Dykes.
Not now, honey. Battle Dykes is on.
That would be the most embarrassing thing ever if you were round at someone's house and you just saw them going through their Sky Plus. It's just like 18 episodes of Battle Dykes. Ooh, Battle Dykes. Yeah. Oh, you watch it too. But yes, so Scott.
This is a story of a frog who is recruited by MI6 to work as a spy. It's called James Pond.
James Pond.
Yes, I spent a lot of time on that one.
You spent a lot of time. How old are you, Scott?
I'm 18.
18. I'm not sure if any other video game aficionados are in the
Do you remember the Mega Drive?
You were well too young for a
Mega Drive was before me.
There was a bloody fantastic game on the Mega Drive called James Pond Adventures of and 007. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
A connoisseur.
A connoisseur right up there.
This is something right here. This is something we could take to Comic-Con.
It is. Unfortunately, it's already there. As a it's something.
Got a new thing called 3D.
Yeah. I actually thought of this thing called Avatar while I was born.
It's about a giant shark.
Yeah, exactly. I've called it Teeth. But maybe that's what we should
And
do.
for that reason, I am out.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pitching that to Universal later. It's just 10 films that already exist with different titles. But imagine, right, that at one point this guy turns to the other part and he goes, see that boat? It's not big enough. Genius. That's for you, Spielberg. Take that to the bank.
The shit man.
Here's just one to shut us down, Craig. Johnny Depp blacks up, robs people and holds various British tourists hostage at gunpoint in Pirates of Somalia.
Jessica Alba is Victoria South, successful lawyer in Chicago. Her dad dies. Then she has to take over his drug empire in Mexico while staying ahead and, more importantly, not falling in love with DEA agent Josh Duhamel in South of the Border. A Brett Ratner movie.
I'd watch that. I've got another one. Oops. Rob Schneider accidentally impregnates his 16-year-old daughter. And I've got the poster. The poster is a pram, and he's like that with a pram, and there's a pair of handcuffs, and he's like, "Oops." I'd watch it.
Scott?
This is a story about, it's pretty close to home, it's about a comic who goes in a panel show and tells the audience about his worst film ideas.
So a kind of journey of self-discovery.
Yeah, it's like Inception.
So the film within a film within a film.
Within a film,
Yeah.
within a panel show, within me.
We could pose a low budget version of Inception where it's a dream within a dream within a dream within a dream, but you've only got the budget to just shoot the guy sleeping. So it's kind of your fault if it's not good.
My imagination's the best special effect I've ever had.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm sitting there going, thanks.
He could be doing the hard to kill eyes.
Just a quick one. Shih Tzu, a comedy about a terrible zoo. And Sylvester Stallone and Carl Weathers take a bumpy trip to Ben & Jerry's to get their favourite ice cream in Rocky Road.
Geeky police analyst Nick Shell is bitten by a radioactive snail and becomes the snail. The tagline is, patience is his power. I'd watch it. All these songs are based on games. This one. It's the Swing Ball World Championship. And no one believes Over the Hill Swing Ball Pro Smash Decker has a chance. But he's got to win, or the mafia will kill his wife and kids. Swing Ball. Playtime is over. And that stars Treat Williams.
Yeah.
This is a Friday the 13th sequel where Jason just kind of puts his feet up, called Saturday the 14th.
Evil does take a day off. Yeah. At the end of that round, which is now over, we have Joe, who's still in the lead, but everyone scored pretty well. But Joe's in the lead with 15 points. Now, our next round, you'll see on your paper in front of you, we've got our odd one out round. So, I think most of you have sussed the connection, but who is the odd one out?
Is it Lou Ferrigno?
But for what reason?
He's the only one to play himself in a Hulk movie.
Well, he didn't play himself. I'm Lou Ferrigno, and I'm raging!
He played another character in a Hulk film, but they've all played David Banner, or Bruce Banner, whatever they called her, fucking Jim Banner. But he's played like a security guard in The Incredible Hulk, I think it was, didn't he?
Mark Ruffalo did play the Hulk in the Avengers because he
yeah, I know, but I'm saying
captured.
Ferrigno, because he played the Hulk in the movie Death of the Incredible Hulk.
Yes.
And he also played another character in a Hulk film. It's not the Hulk.
Yes, he played the security guard, but there's a slightly semantic reason as to why he's the odd one out.
Might be a little bit out. I had this conversation the other day, and I think I was wrong. So I might be wrong again, but let's go for it.
I doubt it.
Apart from Lou Ferrigno, the other three have played both Jim Banner and the Incredible Hulk. Well, he just played the Incredible Hulk.
So almost that the three Ed Norton, Eric Bana, and Mark Ruffalo have all been cast as Bruce Banner. And but Lou has never played Bruce Banner. He's always just been the Hulk. He's been the voice of the Hulk in every iteration, even the ones that they were in. So it is Lou for basically that reason. So I'm going to give some points across the board, but Scott, you can have the most. So yes, question 2 is similarly themed. It's Ellie Driver from Kill Bill. We've got Cyclops from X-Men. That's Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson in his Nick Fury outfit, and on the left,
Snake Plissken.
Snake Plissken.
Is James Masters the odd one out? Because all the other three have worked with Quentin Tarantino, apart from James Masters.
It's not. It's more to do with. What they're.
Have they all got one eye?
Except.
James Masters,
blind,
who's blind.
No.
Is Daryl Hannah the only one out because she's holding a syringe?
She's not the odd one out.
She's the only female. Is that the simplest answer?
Joe, you were so close. They all have one eye except
James Masters is called Cyclops.
yes.
Because he's blind. No,
But
totally. Haven't seen X-Men.
Does anyone know why?
Spots animals can still see.
Yes, thank you. The answer is that the answer is that despite being called Cyclops, the character Cyclops in X-Men, Scott Summers, actually has two eyes. He wears the visor because he projects the stuff at all time. So the visor's to block the his beam. So that's what the answer is. The three of them have all lost an eye, except Cyclops, who ironically has two perfectly operational eyes. Although I'm not sure you'd call that two perfectly operational eyes, because if you went to your optician and you burned a hole through them, he'd probably go, you need like
Is that better?
glasses. Yeah, exactly. Can you read the bottom row? Oh no, the wall's gone. So yes, at the end of that round, Scott and Joe are tied, so we're at a kind of tense tie-break type situation. So can we get sarcastic kind of ooh? Because as we sometimes, that's good. It was wrenched from you, but I got there in the end. So this is our round of extremely variable quality, where we have a look at your always same and oh god, there's quite a lot of them. Well done, by the way. We had a look at a few of these in the break, and there's a few of you that really need a talking to.
Couple of sick fucks out.
Sorry. I have to. I would like the person who wrote this one to fess up, because you get 10 points and you unofficially come second, regardless of what happens for the rest of the show. Who did that? It's just it's like a sort of wavy lines. I like the fact that you still put it in. Like, does the any of you, can you make a film from that? If any of them make a film from this, they get 20 points.
Stars Michael J. Fox.
Is it the story of writing Arabic?
Arabic?
Arabic.
I was like, what the hell's Arabic?
Do not speak England.
Arabic. It's like the oddest inflection anyone's ever given a word ever.
It's like a rabid rabbit. It's Arabic.
Yeah. Because if you show that, if a psychotherapist showed someone that, they might say, oh, it's like chaos or whatever, but show that to 3 comedians and it's just Parkinson's disease.
Is it Arabic?
Is it Arabic? Yeah, it'd be a brilliant thing in a spy film if someone said, "Oh, I need you to translate this dossier." Don't worry, I speak fluent Arabic. do you? Because you can't even say Arabic. That sounds a bit worrying. Arabic. So
I like photography.
what about The Silence of the Lambs? You make a Ned version of that classic Jonathan Demme movie.
I can smell his Fanta and steak bake.
I ate them with some Sunny D and a Caramac. Remember Caramac? It's my Peter Kay material there.
It would just be like a remake of Silence of the Lambs, but the 2 lead characters are played by Marvin and Dana from The Scheme.
Yeah, it's quite easy to film because they're both already in jail.
Then you got Buffalo Bill with his Bobby behind his Bobby with his Bobby. He's Bobby in there and he's going, "You want to pump me? You want to pump me? Who wants to pump me?"
See, it's interesting how a disturbing serial killer film can become hilarious just by sex.
Oh, it puts the lotion in the skin or against the hose again. Puts the lotion in his basket, you're going to get pumped.
It seems interesting to me that a serial killer film about some like brutal, horrible things happening becomes funnier the closer you set it to your own house. We've got Candy, the Second Coming of John.
That's the creepiest Willy Wonka sequel ever. Who can make the sun shine? John.
The Chernobyl Chuckle. It sounds like perhaps a terrible musical.
Maybe it's a story of the Chuckle brothers in Russia, and one was doing a gig at Chernobyl for the factory workers, and he was going, to me, to you, to me, to you, and then Chernobyl explodes, and he becomes radioactive and attacks Tokyo. Look, a giant Chuckle brother! Oh, to me, to you, to me, to you. And he chats up a lassie, and his wife finds out about it. It's on the front of the sun. Giant mutated Chuckle brother has fling with mum.
Yeah. The end shot is them. They're got the Empire State Building between them. To you. And then they swing round, and one of them hits it off the other one as he swings, because it's long at the back. It's the old bladder gag. They're pros, them Chuckle brothers.
They know what they're doing, man.
Even full of radioactive poison, they operate at a high comedy level.
You get your money's worth of the Chuckles, man.
Oh, you do. You do. It's like when the nuclear bomb goes off, if they're on stage, they'll be like, you know what? This show goes on. I might not have a face, but me and Barry are going to rock this.
What's the other one called?
Paul. I couldn't remember the other one's name, so I became him. That's how you do that. So yes, Squint Eastwood Rides Again is the last one that we've got.
Clint Eastwood used to be like an auctioneer, but because he's squint, he was terrible at it. Because he kept going sold, and the guy's over there.
I don't think it's legally binding if the auctioneer points at you and says sold that you need to buy it.
Oh, it is?
So I don't think there's any danger.
See my house, it's full of shite.
Okay.
I don't want Peter Frampton's guitar.
Yeah. I do though. I want Peter Frampton's guitar.
So I wonder who Peter Frampton is.
Two people got that.
No, Peter, no.
Not a clue. I'm still trying to figure out who Steven Seagal is.
That's the end of our elevator pitch round, and at the end of that round, Joe Heenan snuck back into the lead, so congratulations. So our last round is the top 3 round. Each month I ask the panellists to choose their top 3 things of a thing, and the thing that I've given them this time is sequels. So I want them to give me their top 3, an explanation why. I'll give them points for a good choice, a good explanation, a funny reason, and they'll also get bonus points if they match with any of my top 3, which I have here. So I think we'll start with Scott.
Okay. Because I was going to say Casino Royale, because I loved Casino Royale. I think it's what James Bond needed, and then Joe slagged it off and it hurt me inside. I think they looked at the Bourne, like Bourne Automaton, Jason Bourne movies. They kind of looked at like that and sort of brought it back to simpleness.
Yeah, he seemed more like a spy in Casino Royale, which is what he is.
And he looks as though he could kick your arse. I mean, if Roger Moore comes at you, Daniel Craig comes at you, Daniel Craig's Bond.
Yeah.
Run.
I mean, if Roger Moore comes at you, you know you're going to get punned to hell. Not necessarily killed. Yeah. So your second choice?
Toy Story 3.
Toy Story 3, and why?
Because it was right. I think one of the first films I saw was Toy Story, the first Toy Story, and I kind of grew up with the Toy Story series, and I had a buzz and Woody round about Toy Story 2. We had Toy Story 3, and Andy was going to college. I was going to college.
That's really nice, man.
What's your third choice?
Dark Knight. Because it's awesome.
It is.
That's why it was one of. In fact, when I saw Dark Knight, I thought I want to give movies, like making movies, a shot. So I'd like to compare myself to Christopher Nolan. No, I don't. But it was really, really good. I didn't see Batman Begins before I saw Dark Knight because I really wasn't into Batman. I was more into Spider-Man. But I saw the trailer for the Dark Knight and thought it just looked absolutely phenomenal. And Heath Ledger as the Joker was phenomenal. And after he died before it and stuff, and it sort of built up to this hype that you think there's no way it could have lived up to it, and it totally did. And it just blew everybody away. Even my mate who's a Ned. And he just loved Batman, and it was awesome. And I can't wait for Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, no, I think it is going to be amazing. Dark Knight was superb. I thought it was interesting that it inspired. You've got a very positive outlook on life. It inspired you to make films
rather than depressing me into never making a film.
Yeah, I was the exact opposite. I'd already made a few, and it just made me want to give up making films because I thought I'm probably not going to make anything like that ever. But it is a fantastic film, and what he did was totally validate Batman as a character. Like he made him realistic. He's not just a, holy cow, kind of 60s camp character, which is totally great. I mean, I love the 60s Batman film. It's fantastic, but The Dark Knight is the balls.
It's the balls.
It is the balls. Scott?
Right. I went down the route of the sequel actually being better than the original movie. So number 3, I've got Rocky 4, because it's the best out of the entire series. Come on, Joe. It's the best out of the series.
I mean, that got a laugh.
Rocky 4.
It's just
anything
it's
you
just
say, Polly. Just terrible.
Do you know the story about Sylvester Stallone asking Dolph Lundgren to punch him as hard as he could?
Yeah.
And that being the worst idea that's ever happened to anyone, because Dolph Lundgren's about 9 feet tall, and I think he broke his ribs.
So we actually punched him in the scene.
In the scene.
This is not
a boxing movie.
I know it's a boxing movie, right? But in the actual, they're filming this. Dolph Lundgren actually punched him.
Stallone, being a hard man, I think he was like.
You could probably see it actually, because it's not one of the slow down sequences.
It's in the film, that take.
That's impressive.
But
still a terrible film.
It's not bad.
No,
it's not a good movie.
I'm not sure if it's better than Rocky 2 for me, but I do like Rocky 4. It's certainly one of the better ones.
Shit's all over Rocky 3.
Yes.
Oh, you're Rocky 3.
It's not very often you get a 4th film in a series, which is amazing.
True.
Apart from Saw 4.
Thank God you're not having to argue that, because we just don't have time.
Number 2. Again, we've got another shout for The Dark Knight. Batman Begins was boring. It was bullshit.
Oh, now you've helped, because I saw that.
But
I am going to just direct your attention to just below my neckline.
What did you not like about Batman Begins?
Adam's apple.
Yeah, it's Batman.
Oh, yeah.
I swallowed them.
And to be quite honest with you, The Dark Knight probably would have been boring and bullshit as well if it wasn't for Heath Ledger's performance.
I think that's a very controversial opinion.
Yeah.
But then I'm biased, because The Dark Knight Rises is me lying on my back and him climbing out my mouth. So
that's the fucking weirdest. Oh my God.
But yeah, I think it's got. I know what you mean, but I disagree, because I love Batman. I'm obsessed with Batman, and they could have made it a bad film and I'd have still liked it, because I'm that into it.
Did you like Batman and Robin?
No.
There we go.
But Joel Schumacher's, I've got a beef with Joel Schumacher that goes back away. So we're
did he kick you in at high school or something?
He killed my whole family.
Number 1, not only a great sequel, but it's just a great film. It's probably my top 5, if not 3. Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Die Hard with a Vengeance. I mean,
it just gets going. I mean, you don't have to. I mean, Die Hard's great, but it pisses about at the start with just setting up the backstory. Die Hard with Vengeance gets stuck right in there.
It's brilliant.
Explosion. Let's get him out. He's fucked up, and then they bring Samuel Jackson, and after that, it's just brilliant.
I really like Jeremy Irons in it. He's got a
Oh, he's terrible in it.
He's shit.
He's got a brilliant line in it. He goes, "Simple Simon said to the pint, I'll cave your head in." It's like, what? That's not a thing.
It never made a cut, but honourable mention goes to My Girl 2.
I told you that guy laugh.
Sweet and it's beautiful and yeah.
It's a really unexpected choice.
Yeah, Toy Story 3 made you cry. That made me cry.
My Girl 2.
And no, it was the last. He said it to me through there, and I was just like, I think he just said My Girl too. I'm going to have to get him to come back and say that to me again.
In front of people, so we are witnesses.
Yes, exactly. Yes, good choices, all three. Joe, what do you have?
Number 3, Highlander 2, The Quickening. Boom, said it, move on. Number 2 is...
Slow your roll.
I just really like Highlander 2, The Quickening, because it's so fucking terrible that you just can't take it seriously. It's just... but it also has one of the greatest sequences in a Highlander film, where Sean Connery and Christopher Lambert get shot to fuck in the car. That's brilliant. I'm sorry, and I'm a big fan of Russell Mulcahy. But Razorback, his first movie in Australia, was really, really good. Highlander was excellent, and a lot of good match cuts. And it just does it for me. I think it also does is it touches on me, like as a kid watching it. I think I was like 18 when it came out, and seeing it in the big screen. And then my mate got a laserdisc of it with the American version, which is a totally different film. I would sit and watch it. It's got loads more Michael Ironside, who's always good fun.
Yeah.
You can't beat a big Michael Ironside, one of my favourite actors. I mean, you know, see what the party, Victor. You can't get better than that. And have you ever seen a movie called Space Hunter: Adventures in the Forbidden Zone?
I have not.
It's like great. It's like he plays over. Who's seen Space Hunter? Oh, fuck off! Come on.
Second choice.
Another Stakeout. Big fan of Stakeout, John Badham, 1987. Really enjoy it, right? But Another Stakeout, it raises its game, right? It's got all the original cast, but also has Kathy Moriarty from Raging Bull. Also has Dennis Farina from Midnight.
I love Dennis Farina.
Get shorty, you can't get any better than it. You know, just, hey, how'd you find me, Bones? It was easy. I just acted fucking stupid and they thought it was you. It's got Miguel Ferrer, who's George Clooney's cousin, but awesome actor.
No, it's great. I like that was a butt.
No, it's great. It's funny, it's fast-paced, it's tense in sections, really, really tense, but the most important thing, Another Stakeout has the greatest house explosion ever filmed. Watch it tonight on YouTube. You'll go, fuck me, Heenan was right. I want to sit and watch Another Stakeout.
Yeah.
And with that, my lord, I rest my case. Sustained. Number 1, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan.
I know there'll be uptake for that in the room.
Come on, it's like, it improves on the original. Directed by Nicholas Meyer. Who's seen Time After Time? Nicholas Meyer movie. Malcolm McDowell, David Warner.
Yeah.
You seen Jack the Ripper in the future?
Oh yeah.
So Nicholas Meyer knows what he's doing when it comes to action films. You find out about the Kobayashi Maru in that sequence. You've got Spock's death at the start. You think, oh, wait, Spock's dead? No, he's kidding on. And then when you see it, he fucking does die. Ricardo Montalban and his chest. Fuck me, man. She's just boom. Look at that. The chest!
Yeah.
It's there, that's not CGI. That's Ricardo's chest. You've got space battles that are amazing. You've got the space battles
Because he wanted to shoot it like a submarine.
Exactly. Nicola, just when Spock goes, you know, his thinking has been very two-dimensional so far, and Kirk goes, "Well, you should go." No, just really, and one word that sums it up. One word. I'm just gonna have to use this for a second. One word. Khan! Can't get any better. That add anything to it at all. You just can't get any better than Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. Although Star Trek III is pretty good.
This is now like an argument with you and you.
Hang on. No, Star Trek III is pretty good. Because you got, yeah. Actually, I'm changing that to Star Trek. Because Star Trek 3 has the best line. And are we all Star Trek fans here? We like Star Trek here?
Well, I like Star Trek, and I know There's
Star Trek
fans
3
of them.
has the best line in any film ever, right? It's the sequence where the Enterprise is blown up. Kirk's blown up the Enterprise, and the crew are on the ridge of the mountain. And the Enterprise is going into the sky in flames. And Kirk goes, "My God, what have I done?" And Bones says,
What you had to do. What you always do. Turn death into a fighting chance to live.
and you know what? He fucking does that every time. Star Trek 3, Search for Spock. But see, I hate Star Wars. I despise Star Wars.
Yeah.
But it's terrible. It's terrible. George Lucas can suck balls. It's terrible. But Star Trek, that's how you make a fucking movie.
I have to say, the constant recuts of Star Wars are getting on my tits.
Come on, fuck, George. How much money do you need to make?
I'm going to go home later and be sick at the notion of someone not even liking Star Wars at all.
Empire Strikes Back.
Well, you've got two in the panel, and one it probably hasn't even seen them.
I've seen episode 1. I know. I thought it was a great film, very well directed. That was my thing, but it wasn't. It was the first Star Wars film that came out for me was episode 1. I'm never getting booked again. I'll go. That'll be
You could have shit on his cat, and he would have looked at you nicer than he just is there.
Craig, I fucked your ma.
See that
I get away with that.
I know it's.
In fairness, right, as a child, I did find it quite boring.
Well, that makes it all better then.
That is
In the interest of fairness.
At the end of a bad review. In fairness, though,
As a
it's just
child.
about shit more. So this is totally just like disintegrated at the end of this round.
So, Steven Seagal.
So, yes, Steven Seagal to save the day. Here he comes to save the day!
You ever seen the end of Under Siege 2? With the train's exploding and he's running through the train and the train's collapsing behind him and he jumps out the back of the train and he jumps on the ladder from the helicopter.
Genius.
And with that, my top 3 begins with Under Siege 2.
Dark territory.
Dark territory. It takes all the excitement of the boat-based Under Siege and compresses it into the sweat box of a train. I just love it because what they've done is they've taken Gary Busey and Tommy Lee Jones as bad guys in the first film and replaced them with some wee guy with pubes for hair.
Eric Babosi.
Yes, and he's terrible. And he's basically his plan is to blow up the world with a satellite with a CD-ROM.
Yeah.
And it's just a really dull thing to happen. Like,
They just nicked the idea from Silver Streak, the Gene Wilder Richard Pryor movie.
well,
Sent the train. You seen Silver Streak?
everyone's seen Silver Streak, surely. We got to talk.
Do you know what, actually, I've seen episode 3 as well.
Oh God. What we'll have to do is after this we'll go through there and
You'll beat me.
No. I was going to say I was going to write a list of things to watch.
And then beat you with it.
I really hate getting beaten up with a list. That's a really abstract beating. Oh, we've got a man and he's been kicked to death with a list. But yes, I love Under Siege 2, and for that aforementioned scene is so bad that it's brilliant. The fact is, he's on a train. There's no place to hide in the train. He's shot at with machine guns for the best part of 2 hours. Nobody gets near him. Nobody even gets close. I mean, it's a train. I could kill someone in a train with a machine gun. It's a train. He's right there. There's no suspense to it at all. Once he dodges the first 95 bullets, you're more or less thinking at some point he's going to blow this guy up.
John C. McGinley, is he one of the bad guys in that as well? Scrubs?
I don't think so.
No? Oh, I thought he was one of the bad guys.
He's a bad guy in a lot of things, but I'm not sure he was in Under Siege 2. I don't think he's got that black mark.
Oh, he's CD.
My second favourite is, I've mentioned this before, but it's just brilliant, Titanic 2, which is a what's he called, Roger Corman film, where they've taken a budget of £10 million and they filmed a Caribbean cruise liner, and it gets hit by an iceberg that is blown down from the Antarctic by a hurricane and smashes into their set, which is clearly a nightclub in New York. You can actually see the street outside in some of the shots. It's fantastic. It's just like, it'd have been so much easier to just pretend that they were in the Antarctic, but they set it in the Caribbean and had the iceberg. The CGI shot of the iceberg getting blown in a straight line towards this boat is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. It's just whoever pitched that and got £10 million to make a movie has got to come and teach me how to pitch to executives about how to get a budget. And I do apologise, because my thing was about films that kind of ruined the kind of concept of the original. So I didn't choose any good films like Dark Knight or Wrath of Khan. Is fantastic. They would have all been on my list of my favourite sequels. But Leprechaun 5 in the Hood is definitely up there in terms of.
I think that was Gielgud's last movie, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was him and Orson Welles, I think, played the lead parts.
And Olivier.
Yeah. Leprechaun. Brian Blessed's in it as the ringleader of the main gang. But it's basically I don't know, has anyone seen the original Leprechaun films? They're terrible horror films with I think it's Warwick Davis. Who's a leprechaun.
Is that the one with Jennifer Aniston in it?
It's Leprechaun 2, isn't it?
Yeah, she's in one of the ones that made it to a cinema. But Leprechaun 5 in the Hood certainly didn't. But it features many rappers, and the leprechaun kind of takes over a kind of rapper posse, and then causes some mayhem. You know.
Oh, I own that. Yeah, I've got that.
So you're the one.
Yeah.
Shit, why did I do that?
You're a statistical anomaly. Doesn't like Star Wars and owns Leprechaun 5 on DVD. I tell you what, the Venn diagram of that is just you.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. So no one scored any bonus points, although I'm going to give Joe a couple for just even pegging Under Siege 2 before I mentioned it.
Easiest point you've ever made.
Yeah. The points don't need to be hard fought. You know, I'm throwing them about like sweets. I'm like a point pimp. I just chuck them out. I'm like a sugar daddy.
You're like the Willy Wonka of points.
Yeah, except for Scott. He gets points for that until he does his homework and watches some films. But he did come up with some very excellent ideas. So we've got, let's see, at the end of that round, Scott Brown is now annoyed. So well done. And with that, that's the end of tonight's podcast.
Who's won?
So a quicker way to do that would have just been to say, congratulations, Scott Brown, the winner of the show. I like to have it in the edit separate, just in case we need to cut round any Steven Seagal chat. Yes, I want you to join me in thanking our guests, Joe Heenan, Scott Brown and Scot Laird. Thank you very much for coming out, and we'll be back here on Friday the 22nd of June when we've got Rick Molland, Gareth Watt and Sarah Cassidy. Thanks very much for coming along, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Cheers.